Hello there, the Uneducated Businessman here, talking about team building. And you know you're going to have problems doing this, yeah? We all have problems building teams. The hardest thing you will do in life, I think, is manage people. And when you're building a team, you're going to have to manage people, and you're bringing people together with lots of different personalities, different ideas, different ways of working, attitudes, skills. It's a minefield, and you've got to navigate yourself through this and lead that team and get them working as a tightly fitting together unit. And unless you anticipate the problems that are going to come, things are going to creep up on you and hit you hard. So you've got to know what to expect, and I'm going to tell you what to expect because I've done this before and I know it's not easy, and you get the same problems over and over and over again. It's not the beauty is it's very rarely something you don't expect. The problems seem to be, in my experience, the same things all the time. And one major problem I think can be when you bring a team together, they get too friendly, they get too personal with each other. You know, you've got them constantly discussing their personal lives, what they're doing outside of work, what's going on with the family, and they spend too much time talking about all of this rather than actually concentrating on the product. And as a team leader, that's going to knock you back. That's going to throw you off of your scheduled deadlines. You're not going to get to where you want to go if you let that continue. If you've got a team that aren't taking the work seriously and they're too busy talking about what they did last night, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc., you have got to break that. You've got to find a way of getting in and breaking these tight-knit groups. That might be you have to move people around, you have to put people in different areas, you have to just have an open and honest conversation and lay the law down of what's expected. You know, we all like a little bit of fun at work, we all like to talk about things, we all like to have that period where we relax, but you know, that's what breaks are for, that's what lunch is for. You know, you can get together and you can talk about that then. When you're there to work and when you're being paid to work, that's what you expect and that's what you want. And you're going to have to anticipate when you build your team and they come together, they can potentially form a tight-knit group. And if you're not on top of it, that's going to take over, and you're going to find your team spending more time talking about fun things than doing the work. You're also going to have to anticipate people's flexibility. Some members can be really flexible and they can bend and they can take on things and they can adapt, and other people won't. Some people are going to be anxious about trying new approaches. Some people are going to think their only way is right. Their way is their way or the highway kind of thing, and they're going to want to do it their way. And you might have 3 or 4 people in the team wanting to go this and they're pulling that, and it's going to block people's progress. And you've got to expect and you've got to anticipate that people are going to have their own ideas, and they're going to want to do their own way of things, of working. And you've got to address these concerns, you've got to address these fears with people, because you've got to make them aware that, yes, okay, you know, your way might be the best, but we've got to talk about it, we've got to discuss it, and we've all got to decide as a team what way we're going to go. Yeah, because if at the end of the day you've got people pulling in all different directions, this team is not going to get where you want them to be. It's really, really not. So anticipate people's flexibility, people's ability to chop and change and take on new ways of working. They may not want to take on your way. They may have something different completely in mind. Gotta anticipate that. And lastly, I think one of the major problems is conflicts, you know, and this is probably the number one. You're going to get people coming together and they're going to be butting heads, and they're going to have ways of wanting to do things and disagreements and major differences. You're going to have different working styles, you're going to have different schedules, different quality of work. Some people are going to have a really high expectation, some people are going to have low. Some people are going to be very focused, some people aren't, you know, and you've got to understand that everybody's different and everybody's going to come at this from a different way of wanting to do things, and you've got to work on solutions. You can't go in and just blame people, because when you've got a team, if you start going in and blaming certain people, it's going to alienate them. It's going to destroy that team. It's going to just drive a wedge. You need to come up with solutions that everybody can adapt to, and you can't blame people. You've got to include people. It's a team. It's not just one person. It's a collective amount, and if it's not working, it's not just one person's fault, it's everybody's. And you've got to sit down and you've got to talk about things, and you've got to come up with a way of bringing people together so they're not too together that they are forming what's the word I'm looking for, something related, unproductive ways of working. They're concentrating more on themselves rather than the goals. You've got to anticipate conflicts. You've got to anticipate some people being really flexible, some people not, and you've got to anticipate that people are going to butt heads, and you can't go and blame people. You've just got to keep that team together at all costs and find solutions for every problem within that team. And quite often the team will give you those solutions. If you use a coaching approach where you can go in and you can say, okay, I can see maybe this isn't working, this isn't right, maybe some people want to go in this direction, some people want to go in this. We seem to be coming off of the project, and we seem to be talking more about this kind of stuff. How do we stop this? How do we get back on track? How do we get each other working properly? How do we move forward? 9 times out of 10 they'll have the answers. But if you go in, you start throwing accusations around, you start blaming people, you're going to get a wall in front of you, and it's going to make it very, very hard for you to push that team forward. So the lesson for today is anticipate things. Anticipate that there is going to be conflict. There is going to be different ways of working. There is going to be inflexibility with your team members, and there's going to be all sorts of hiccups along the way that if you do anticipate, you can put measures in the first instance. You can talk about them before they arise, and you can put measures in to make sure everything runs smoothly. And the team know these things are going to happen, and they can recognize it, and they can deal with it, and they can come up with solutions as well. I hope that was useful. I'm back now. I'm feeling better. The cough is more or less gone. I'm feeling a bit more human. I'm not feeling as sorry for myself. So I'm back studying again. I'm back working. I'm back in my businesses again. So life is good. Life is exciting. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I'm the Uneducated Businessman. Over and out.